Question. How many of you have a pet cat? Okay, now, how many of you with your pet cat, you play the laser light game? I used to have a cat, and he used to love this game. And what I noticed about him is that when he was playing the laser light game, all he did was focus on the laser light. It was so amazing because hardly anything could take his attention away from that little light. Now, you might say, cats have little brains, they don't have much to worry about. Of course they can focus on one thing. Well, I would say we have bigger brains and we should know better. We think that we can multitask, but all the research is saying now that none of us actually multitask. What happens, say we have 4 things we're trying to juggle. We start, stop this one. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. To see what's happening? We start and then we stop. Start, stop. We're teaching ourselves to stop what we've started. None of us jumps from one to the other without losing focus on the thing we just jumped away from. None of us multitask, even though we think we do. Now, I have been known as being the queen of multitasking. But now that I've studied the research and I realize that's not actually what I'm doing, I've been really reining in my discipline and my focus so that I stop stopping all these things that I'm starting all the time. No more multitasking. Now, the thing is when we learn to focus and use our span of time most efficiently, we make progress so fast. It's unbelievable. I have some tips for you to help you use your time that you've set aside for your goal in the most efficient way and the most productive way possible. First of all, privacy. Now, I realize if you're raising young children, this might be a little bit challenging, but it is amazing when young kids learn that this is mommy time and they watch mommy focusing and improving her life. It's so powerful, the way that influences them. And so then they start to focus a little bit more in the time that they have on their own projects. So do whatever you can to create privacy around that slot. Now, you might have a babysitter come for 30 minutes so that you can have your goal-oriented time. You might have the kids sit down and say, 10 minutes, I want you to be coloring, and I will come back when the timer goes off. Start the process. They'll kick and scream at first. They will interrupt you all the time at first, but eventually they'll get in the hang of it and they'll start to imitate you. Second, turn it off. Now, what do I mean turn it off? Turn off the email, turn off Facebook, Twitter, any social media sites, especially if they make noise or they pop up, or if you would be tempted to go click over there and see what's going on. Turn off your cell phone, put it on a do not disturb, and your email, the TV, the radio, anything that could pop up, whether it be a sound or a light or a movement, turn it off. Because anything that could come from the side or make an extra sound will distract you from your focus. So turn it all off. 3, set a timer. Now, here's what I do. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I turn off the email on all the social media sites. And I go to the timer section of my phone and I set it for as much time as I have. Let's say I have 30 minutes. Let's say I have 50 minutes. Whatever amount of time that you have, set your timer. Now, this is really interesting. Once you set the timer, your brain no longer has to hold on to keeping track of the time for you. That means that's one less thing your brain has to do, and your brain can now focus in on the progress you're trying to make. Set a timer. Otherwise, if you're like me, you'll keep checking the clock to see how much time you have left, And that will totally, every time you do that, you stop your focus and you interrupt yourself and you slow down your progress. All right, create privacy, turn everything off that'll distract you, set a timer. 4, write it down. It's amazing how many things pop into my head right when I'm trying to focus on something else. So I've developed a little trick. As soon as it pops into my head, I write it down. When I write it down, my brain releases the responsibility of remembering it. When you write things down, your brain lets it go. If you don't write it down, your brain will try to hang on to it, and then that will be one thing that your brain is focusing on when you'd rather your brain be focusing on the task and the priority that you're trying to make happen. And my last tip for you today, create a sound barrier. Now, here's what I mean. I use this app called My Noise, and it produces, I mentioned this in a previous video, it produces a thunderstorm, white noise, it produces a walk in the jungle, which is so much fun, and all kinds of other things you can do. Now, this is cool because it has a timer on it. So I'll turn off all my distractions. I'll make sure that I'm in a place where I can really just not be disturbed. I will put the phone on Do Not Disturb. I'll create a thunderstorm in my Noise app, and I'll set it to go in the thunderstorm for, let's say, 1 hour, 60 minutes. When the thunderstorm stops, then it's time for me to stop working, and I move on and I do something else. See, that takes away all the possible distractions, and it allows me to focus in and get my work done. And I will assure you, if you will focus in better in the time that you have, if you will take away all the multitasking, take away all the interruptions, take away the pops of the email and the social media, and create a noise barrier and just allow yourself to think, you will make progress so fast, you won't even believe it. It is amazing. You can be a full-time worker and a parent and be working on this goal in your free 10 minutes, free 15 minutes, and you can make progress so fast, it will blow you away if you manage your distractions carefully. I hope that's helpful. Think about it. Think about how you're going to use this in the time that you have and you're working towards your goal. Tell us in the comments right below this video, and I have a few more tips for you in our next video.